Welcome everyone to the Let's Talk ICP podcast. Today is our episode number 53, and we have an amazing guest. Is Tushar Gupta. Tushar is the founder of RuBaRu. RuBaRu is a decentralized content creation platform that is building on the internet computer blockchain. It's an amazing project. It's a startup that have a lot of potential. And yeah, I'm so excited to know more about the project, to share and know more about you and the path and what you are building. Welcome to the Let's Talk ICP podcast, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me, and I'm pretty excited to go through this conversation and let's see how it goes and what all we can extract out of it. I'm pretty
Amazing.
excited. Yeah.
Great. Okay, yeah, tell us more about you, Tushar. Who is Tushar Gupta, and yeah, your path and your previous experience before entering in the blockchain Web3 space.
Sure. Yeah. So if I talk about my my career and my education, so I'm an engineering graduate. I've done my bachelor's in engineering from one of the reputed college in India. Uh, I'm based out of Gurugram, India. It's very nearby New Delhi. Uh, so I finished my graduation in year 2006, and after graduating, I joined one of the uh, good startup based out of in, Delhi NCR. That was not a deliberate decision, but yeah, it was fortunate for me to join a startup instead of joining a corporate setup, wherein you get very less exposure in terms of getting hands-on to complex ecosystem or complex modules. Uh, so I was fortunate to work with this startup and get hands-on on couple of things that you even as a developer, when you start your career, you just dream about getting things, getting your hands dirty on a couple of things. That's not even allowed for a 4 to 5 years of experience of guy to take care of that. So yeah, so this startup was based out of Delhi. They were a medtech startup, and the first assignment that I got from this organization was to build a radiologist workstation. Uh, if I explain about the radiologist workstation, it was a combination of software and hardware, wherein this workstation used to communicate with the different modalities or the medical modalities like CT machines, the MRI machines. It used to extract the patient data out of it and then present that in front of radiologists in a meaningful way so that they can create report based on different patient condition. So yeah, that module, I think that was very challenging for me because that was the first time when I got hands-on on a live project wherein you are building something which is very critical in nature. Because if you're building something in health tech or med tech domain, you need to take care of each and everything because a single bug can cause a lot of lots of big challenges in terms of patient health. So that's how I learned how to build things in a live environment, specifically when each and every component is very critical in terms of outcome. Because if you're building something which does not affect a human being, you can you have a scope of error. But with these type of software, you don't have any scope of error. So the most exciting thing that I worked on with that module was building a 3D modeling software. So think it from that perspective because this was a time when image processing and 3D modeling was very new concept. Even 2D image rendering, 2D compression, encoding, decoding was big challenges at that time. That was a period, I think, 2006, 2007, when we built a protocol wherein once you extract the patient data out of the modalities like CT, MRI, X-rays, you get an information where you can build a 3D model of a patient, and not even the external 3D modeling. But because that was a volume rendering, you can even get inside a patient, I would say 3D model to analyze if there is something wrong or with the patient, or radiologists or the doctors can even, understand things which are not visible while you visit a clinic. I'll give you an example on that. So I have worked with a lot of orthopedic surgeons in my past experience. So I was working with one of the organization that is one of the world's top organization. They were facing a lot of questionnaires from surgeons where they used to say that, uh, we when we go out for a surgery, we plan out the surgery, right? Let's say I'm going for a knee surgery or a knee replacement surgery. As a surgeon, I need to plan what I'll see on the table when I am operating the patient. But I can plan only things that are visible to me during their clinic visits, or because I'm planning on 2D images like X-ray or CT or MRIs, I can only plan things in 2 dimension. So then we started working on a product wherein we used to collect the CT or MRI data from these machines and construct a 3D model out of it. And with the software, you can scroll through different zones of the patient data. You can highlight bone data, you can highlight muscle data, you can even look into different tissues. So that's how the doctors or the surgeons were able to plan better, the surprises that they get on table, and they have to do a lot of maneuvering. So yeah, so that was the first thing that I got to work on, and it taught me a lot about how you build as a software engineer or a software developer. How do you build things? How do you take care of critical things? Because someone's life is dependent on you. Uh, Post that, I joined one of the biggest, I would say, one of the biggest consulting firm, software consulting firm. I am not sure if you have heard about Sapient Consulting.
Mhm.
Uh, so that was a banking project, and so I was deployed with one of the hedge funds in USA, Citadel hedge fund,
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
over there, yeah. So I built a integration of Swift protocol, for backend clearing and settlement system. That system is still up and running, and I was the sole developer in that project, and it used to handle billions of dollars of trade in single day. So yeah, I mean, this is one thing that I'm proud of. So banking plus med or health tech was my core things, and that were very close to my heart. Post Sapient, I joined the Stryker Orthopedics. If I don't know if you heard about Stryker Orthopedics, one of the top orthopedics company in the world. So the core business of theirs is implants, but they have supporting softwares, tools that help surgeons to do surgery and different things. Uh, so I was hired by Indian Research Center, Strikers Indian Research Center, for one of the project that they wanted to execute for emerging markets, specifically India and Brazil. So the main challenges these companies faced was, the implant was designed as per the Caucasian population, and there were a lot of anatomical changes when we talk about different population of different demographics. So we were responsible for developing one of the tool or the robotic tool that was going to assess the surgeon during their surgery of hip and knee replacement. So I was working with a robotic team. We were handpicked, 10 engineers were handpicked across the globe. And we were working with the Stryker's division in Germany. And what we used to do is we used to build a product, and then we used to go to different cadaver labs to test out what we have built is either working or not. Over there, I had a chance to interact with the big surgeons here in India. And they used to say one thing, guys, you are working on a very big problem, but there are a lot of small problems that still needs to be addressed specifically in Indian market. And that's keep coming back to us. Whenever we go visit them, that keep coming over. They say, if you talk about Indian market or the Indian ecosystem, uh, robotics is next step, but we are missing the first step still. The number one pain point for the healthcare in India was number of doctors per patient. The ratio is very skewed. So they keep on coming that educating our fellow junior doctors is one of the biggest challenge that they face, because specifically in surgery, wherein any doctor who has passed out of his medical degree used to attend different surgeries under different big doctors or big surgeons to understand how things are being done, and what protocols do they follow, what techniques do they follow. But getting into the O2 is one of the biggest regulatory challenge everywhere in the world. So if you want to go into a OT where you want to learn certain techniques from your senior, you need to get a lot of approvals. You need to get a patient consent, whether this surgery can be used as a for education purpose or not. And specifically, if I talk about India, people do not agree with those consents, because they think that their privacy is being hampered. Plus, there are a lot of chances of infections. So there was a lot of challenges, both from the regulatory as well as from the health perspective. So what we did, me and one of my colleague from a Striker Orthopedics, we left our job and we launched a meta tech platform. That was our first venture, and we build a product we were working on, creating a social media network for doctors. And that's how, this social media network or the content creation platform concepts came into picture. So that platform was used by different doctors to, discuss different complex cases with fellow colleagues or the other senior doctors whom they didn't even know. That's open up the scope of their learning experience. I know some of the surgeon, I can talk to them directly, but that's very limited scope. Instead, if I can post my case, after anonymizing the data, if I can post my complex case to a social media platform where I know that there are multiple doctors who can give me advice on that case, and it's up to me and the other moderation whether I need to accept that learning or not. That's up to me. I can validate that going through my textbooks and different other techniques. So that's how it all started. And then we pivoted from that platform to online training education for doctors. Because at the end of the day, each and every startup needs to make revenue to build a sustainable model. So the product was pivoted, and then in year 2017, I guess, I exited from there because most of my work was done, and I felt that things are getting monotonous. And fortunately, unfortunately, I also got exposure to crypto in 2017. So I mean, that changed everything. I saw a big opportunity, because one of the key learning from last startup was when I used to talk to different people, or when we used to talk to different investors for raising funds. One of the consistent feedback was, the market size is not big enough, because you are working on a niche. The market size is not enough that it can be scalable to billions of dollars. So that was one of the key learning that we had. We made a good viable business. Things are working fine, but that is not going to impact whole lot of population. And that's how I got interested into blockchain, decentralized technology. And at that time, Ethereum ICOs were running like crazy. I also thought that because I had an exposure, I'm a software engineer. I understand things, how technology works. So I saw that as an opportunity, but that turned out to be a big time scam. I mean, ICOs were a big time scam, and so I knew that I was researching about what big we can create in order to touch billions of people. Billions of people. So one of the key things that we saw in India was a boom in social media platform. So each and every person, if I talk about three generations, including me, my generation, and the generation below us, and the generation below above us. So I would say my father, me, and my kids, everyone was on social media platform. And the ring that rang a bell for me. Something
Yeah.
can be done over there. And if we are talking about borderless social media platform, one of the challenge that I saw in the centralized platform was the incentivization or revenue sharing. Because when you are talking about fiat, you are talking about regulatories, you are talking about different government regulations that you need to follow, get license and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's how it all started with the blockchain technology. Apart from the interest in crypto.
Yeah, for sure. But that's fantastic. It's impressive your background and all the things that you were working before. You mentioned Citadel in banking. You're building a platform for them, like move billion of dollars. Also, like medical industry, the orthopedic. You mentioned about implants, working with like robotics as well, with robotics team. Also, like deploying social media platforms for doctors, right? Like for hospitals
Yeah,
and even like immerse in the education as well. That's fantastic, and I think that's amazing that we have or we are bringing a good value and good people to the internet computer ecosystem. Always, I ask the first question, of course, is ask about the introduce yourself and your background. But I think this is one of the best introductions that I heard in my podcast. Like your life before, like entering in the crypto space in blockchain. That's super impressive and truly inspiring, and that's amazing. Thank you so much for your intro. And then
not a
Tushar,
problem. Yeah.
yeah, tell us more about like you mentioned about 2017, the ICOs, all the scams that we saw, of course, in and the wild west that we saw on the space in crypto market.
Yeah.
But when you like changed your mind or when you thought like, wow, this is crazy, blockchain I think is totally the future. Of course there are like meme coins and projects like scams or rug pulls, but there are also like good projects building on the
Right.
Web3
Right.
space. I'm curious
Right.
when you realize the power of the blockchain, and specifically when you meet like internet computer, when you like start to realizing more about the internet computer blockchain.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. 2017, when I got exposure to crypto, the sole aim for me was to make money out of it. That's how it all started. And sooner I realized, even in the orthodox or the conventional startup system ecosystem, uh, one out of only 10 startup, make their way to top. I would not even say top, on a mediocre level as well. So I realized that there would always be good players and bad players in every ecosystem. And I lost not very big money, but yes, I lost some money while investing in ICOs. I thought that the product or the project in which I was investing, I was doing my due diligence, but yeah, I was wrong. But then it gave me opportunity to understand or to learn. I mean, how things works. If we are talking about crypto, if we are talking about blockchain, what actually is the value proposition? And that's how I started evaluating different blockchains at that time in 2017, 18, 19. I was working on a different project with one of my bureaucrat colleague. So again, different context. Post exiting my first startup, I was involved as a CTO in another organization. I was working with some of the bureaucrats in Indian government, not as in government employee. That was a side venture for them, but they were building a platform wherein any aspirant or the administrative service aspirant can go and take evaluation tests for themselves, whether they are preparing correctly or not, what are their weak points, what subjects they need to work more on. So that was a time when AI was not a keyword. We used to talk about machine learning and everything, and we were building system where this machine learning will tell a user after taking a test what are their, the overall analysis about their preparation. So I was working with them on the side, I was also understanding about the decentralized technologies, blockchains and whatnot. And so what I did, social media platform was one of the key interest area for me. And as a hobby project, I started building. I thought let's build something. I have a couple of hours spare with me. Let's start building that. I was building that, and then in 2020, I guess, Indian government announced that they are going to ban most of the Chinese applications. TikTok was one of the biggest app that was being used in India, heavily used in India, and that was banned. And at that time, I thought, because regulators can do everything because things are centralized, regulators can, any day can call upon the different platforms or the different companies to, shut down their services because they can do that. That's a centralized nature of the platform. I also see opportunity because the platform was banned. There was a gap or a void in the market because people were not able to use TikTok like platforms, and people were crazy about TikTok generating content and using it day and night. So I started out with a narrative that I'll build something from India, and everything would be everything would be built using platforms or services or something which satisfy the regulatory purposes. Because I understand that government can take decision as per their interest or as per their convenience. So I started building out, this application wherein I thought that I need to solve two things. Number one was the ownership problem. So the content creators, whenever I went out for my research work, talking to different content creators, there was always a concern that we do our work for, let's say, 3-4 years, build our audience, and once we start making money, someday because of certain kind of post which does not follow certain guidelines, our account gets suspended. That was one of the biggest concern that they have. The other was the incentivization thing. And because in 2017, the IC, I think it was 2017 when IC announced that they have started working on the product, and they were also registering for airdrops, I think. That was the first time when I heard about ICP or Internet Computer. And I remember that this was the time where Solana and ICP both announced about their products. And then because I didn't have too much of exposure to ICP, and I didn't have any direct contact within, where you reach out and you can understand about things, I started researching about Polygon, how we can use Polygon as a blockchain to for the incentive to democratize the incentivization program. Started building out in 2020. We were about to finish our product, but then again, when I used to go back to the content creators to get feedback, they used to always say that, yeah, this problem we can solve, incentivization problem we can solve. What about the content ownership? What are the ownership of our own account? And that stuck, that stuck within me, my other colleagues, that we always used to discuss, yeah, how can we solve this problem? There is no way we can look around and we have a way to solve the problem, because we cannot build our blockchain ourselves, right? Because if you are building a end user or end user product, building an infrastructure would have been a 5 to 6, 7 years of project, and that doesn't make any sense. Fortunately, I was talking to one of my colleague, and he suggested me that why don't you have you registered for Internet Computer Airdrop, because in 2021 they are about to launch. And then I started understanding and learning about ICP and what all ICP provides, what all capabilities ICP gives. And that stuck my mind, and we had a lot of discussion with my other colleague that is working on with me on RuBaRu. Then we said, should we launch what we have right now on the Polygon itself, or are we defeating the purpose? And there was a lot of heated arguments as well, that because we have spent a lot of time building the application, now we are saying that we are going to scrap that. because principally it does not fulfill what we sought out to build. And finally, everyone agreed that if we are building a social media platform, and if the moat is not big enough, this is not going to solve the purpose, and this is absolutely going to fail. Because if you're talking about building a social media platform, we are directly competing with some big names, and if we are not solving the problem which we sought out to solve, does not make sense to spend even an extra day. So that's where we stopped everything over there, and we started building a POC on internet computer. We already have a good understanding about what all features would be required, and what all features are highly used by the users. But then we also had a good understanding about the documentation, what all capabilities we had. We also saw can as a product, when it was open sourced. We understood that this is possible, but being a software engineer or being a developer, we do not believe in anything until we do it. So that's how it all started. Then we participated in Supernova Hackathon with a target that we'll build a very small application that will validate that we can even use blockchain as a backend infrastructure to build a fully decentralized social media platform. And when we say that we want to build a fully decentralized social media platform, we were very sure that we are coming from a background where we scrapped one of the product. We are not going to compromise on fully decentralized system. That was the number one principle we set out. The other principle was that we understand that social media platforms are used by user on their mobile phones. We were very clear that whatever we build, it should be mobile first, because building a website or the mobile friendly website doesn't make sense, because uh, uh, making the social media users come back to your platform is not feasible on web apps. So these were two top things, or you would say these are the two top principles that we set out. We are not going to compromise on that. And I believe with the Supernova Hackathon, we were able to build our POC. We were able to validate our hypothesis that this can be done, and the social media platform can be totally decentralized, and we can even give the ownership of accounts, their incentives, and the content to the content creators themselves. Even because if you are talking about the tokens, utility tokens, uh, the border or the incentivization becomes borderless. It does not depend on any country specific, whether you are from Canada, I'm from India. I can if I want to donate, because I saw that you are a big or a good content creator, I like your content, I can contribute some of my tokens to you, so that you keep on building good content, right? If I talk about the orthodox or the conventional social media platform, it becomes difficult, because there is a lot of to and fro between the currencies and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, that's how it all started. We built a very basic monolithic design on the backend side, just to prove that social media capabilities can be built using ICP. And once that was done, we applied for a Definity grant. Uh, One of the principles also that I would like to mention, I'm sorry, it's getting too long, but I want to mention that we also set out that we are not going to raise funds unless we are very confident that we can build what we are sought out to build. And we had this principally agreed among ourselves. If we cannot bet our own money in building certain things, we should not ask for funds from anyone who is building, who is hustling every day, earning money, and then because we have seen ICO scams. I was totally against raising funds early, and just from because of our idea, and raise funds and then start building, and then might be failing. So we bet our own money. We deliberately decided that we'll be in stealth mode unless we have a product where principally what we are trying to build is already built. Then we'll go and increase the capability of the platform, and then then we'll see how we can transfer the ownership from the team to the community. Because at the end of the day, if you're building a decentralized system, the power should not lie within the team. That should get distributed among the community. So I mean, yeah, that was the plan. And we applied for Definity grant. We got 25K grant approved. I think the team who was in the approval process understood what our vision was, and they also saw what we have already built. And we are very fortunate to have certain team members who have approximately 18 years of experience individually. So things that we might have done wrong because of our experience in the past, we know that this is the right path to follow if we want to build a system which is going to onboard billions of users in the future. Right now, I mean, it might be a far-fetched dream, but this is what we want to do.
Perfect. Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. The story as well, how you start with the project. And yeah, before to dive in more in the RuBaRu, I'm curious. You mentioned about the proof of concept for your project in the Supernova Hackathon.
Right.
This is cool. Like briefly, if you can explain like how it was the POC, because I saw like a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people that start their own startup. They want to start like right away and put in the market product that maybe they don't have success or they don't validate before that this product works or not, or is profitable or not. And yeah, I think it is super important. First, try and ask in general like a sample and see like if this product works or not works. How you did the POC directly in the Supernova hackathon, or after that you have like people, family, friends, someone like test the applications or test the RuBaRu platform, even if it's like a monolithic basic thing? How like you made with that?
Yeah. So because we were fortunate enough to have already worked or built a business from grounds up to a user base of 500,000 people. We learned a lot from what we have already done in our last product. We did a lot of mistakes. We did a lot of wrong things. Then we realized that this should not be the case. So I'll give you an example. We were building that platform that I talked about, the doctor's social media platform. We had a limited interactions with a couple of surgeons and understood their requirement, what they need as a platform to solve the basic problem that they have. We sought out and started building that. We built that application for around 4 to 5 months, and then we launched that application. And the immediate feedback that we got that you have built X, Y, Z things. We only need X, Y, Z, and an additional thing. And that additional thing took around 1.5 months for us to build. Then we realized, this is not the right path. And fortunately, that time when we were building, that was a startup boom time in India. And we got to know a lot of mentors, a lot of big entrepreneurs who have already successfully built the companies, both in conventional and non-conventional ways. The first feedback that we got that, if you are not going to your user base to collect feedback, you are going to fail now or later, but that is going to happen. So that was the biggest learning that I have from my last venture. So what we used to do before even starting into when we start building with the other blockchain, building RuBaRu with the other blockchain, we used to build things, and then we used to go back to a couple of identified content creators that we already knew, because I was involved with one of the consulting firm who used to consult these content creators in order to make their brand.
Yeah.
So I used to go there, I used to talk to them, I used to show the application, I used to get the feedback whether this application does challenge the other already existing applications. There were two types of feedback that I used to get. The number one, that usability is not good. I mean, the usability should be better, because we were talking the application, we were comparing that application with an application which has been built by a company which has annual expenses of around $1 billion. So yeah, that one thing was consistent, the usability. The other feedback was, why do you want to reinvent the wheel? I mean, if you are building something, if people are used to do XYZ things in a certain way, why not to mimic that? Why to create a new learning curve? And these two learnings were very, very, encouraging as well as insightful for us. So when we were building RuBaRu, specifically when I talk about when we started building on ICP, again, the other two principles that I talked about, one of the principle was also to build an application that that has a top-notch user experience. So user experience, if I talk about user experience, it should be at least what other conventional or the centralized application provides. If we cannot put this application against the user experience of those applications, we are bound to either fail or we are bound to get a very slow growth rate. So yeah, that's how all started. We used to get a lot of feedback cycles so that we are not building something which is even not required.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nice.
even even when we did our first phase of pre-beta release, we released it to a close group of people in among the community, got a lot of feedback, and then we did some pivoting, and sooner we will be launching maybe. We are right now setting up our Google and the iOS App Store, maybe a couple of weeks, and we'll be able to hand over the application to the end users for next round of testing.
Cool. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for the tips. I think it's pretty valuable for other entrepreneurs that want to start their own project and maybe they don't know exactly the way that they can prove or they can test before to go mine it or before to launch, right? That's so
right.
yeah, interesting.
I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds. I'm sorry. I just want to add one thing.
yeah,
It might sound counterintuitive if I see the current from the perspective of the developers who are building the application in different blockchain space. Uh, but my understanding is, if you are not building it right, that is not going to sustain for a long time. And if you want to build something that is sustainable, that is viable, and that can even run when the DAO is in place, the application should be top notch, and that can only come from the feedback cycles and building things that might fail quickly.
yeah.
But yes, that should be the case.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks, Tushar.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's dive in more for RuBaRu. What is maybe,
absolutely.
yeah, I pronounce maybe differently, right? Is RuBaRu? I'm wrong or
I mean, yeah, Rubru is a Urdu word, as
RuBaRu?
to say.
RuBaRu with
Yeah,
the okay. RuBaRu.
it's a Rubru. So the basic meaning of Rubru is face to face. So the
Okay.
idea was to So the idea was to build an application which puts you as a content creator face to face with your end user or your consumers.
But is
So
in
yeah, I mean, how?
Hindi or RuBaRu or what language
I
is
mean,
face to face?
yeah. So
RuBaRu?
Rubru is an Urdu word,
Uh-huh.
but in India we use Hindi as well as Urdu in our daily conversations. So yeah,
Okay.
these are very commonly used words.
Nice. Perfect. Yeah, it makes sense
Yeah,
now. RuBaRu. Yeah,
yeah.
and also it's like a catchy name. I like it. Yeah, RuBaRu. Cool.
I
Yeah.
mean, I was a little skeptical whether we should use it or not, but it's something which gets tapped into your mind. On your subconscious mind, it gets tapped, and you'll remember that. And
Yeah,
that's how I think branding works.
for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is RuBaRu?
So, as I said, we are building a fully decentralized or fully on-chain creator consumer economy where we believe that, if we can build an ecosystem where content creators, content consumers, and in the future brands can create an ecosystem that is regenerative in nature. When I say regenerative in nature, that the value flows among these three, participants in the ecosystem. For example, I'll give you an example. I, as a content creator, is producing content. Why I'm producing content? Because I want that my consumers or my audience look into that content, they appreciate it, and they might, tip me as well. I want to also engage with brands so that I can promote those brands to their potential consumer base, and then I can also make up money out of it. So it's all about making things viable for these three people. And we also realize that if we see the statistics, or we if we see the numbers, again, because of my past experience, I understood that stats and numbers are very important if you're building a long sustainable business. So if you see the numbers, people are spending 2 to 3 hours at least on social media platforms, scrolling through different content, whether it is content on Instagram or TikTok or shorts or whatnot.
Mhm.
So, but as a consumer, because I'm consuming the content, I'm spending my time. I might also be participating in sponsored content, but I'm not getting out of anything out of it. So the one aspect was to build a system wherein, if I as a consumer is spending time and I'm contributing in content creators growth as well, and I'm also providing my data to brands so that they can understand my behavior, I should get something out of it. That's not free. That's my data. I'm going to decide what value my data has. So
Mhm.
this is number two things that we want to build in an ecosystem wherein creators as well as consumers earn incentives. Plus, brands can target their potential customer base with the consent of the consumer base, not without that. So yeah, that's what we sort out to build. Uh, uh, if I talk about the statistics around the last thing I saw that 85 to 86% yes, 85 to 86% of the content creators are not generating any revenue, or very less revenue of what they are doing on different social media platforms. So we also want that the incentivization should be proper, and the maximum proportion should go to content creators themselves. That's how we empower them in taking the content creation as a full-time job, but instead of having just a part-time content creation journey.
Mhm. And this content creation is like a video platform or what is exactly? It's similar, for example, we have like Hot or Not now in the ICP ecosystem as
Yeah.
well.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So basically, we uh, we want to build a system where you can post any kind of content. That's one of the thing that we had in our vision. We Because I said that the learning curve when we are talking about onboarding Web2 users to Web3, the learning curve should be minimal. So what we decided was we'll start with the still images as a content.
Mhm.
If you talk about influencers, they do a lot of still images content, and they post them on the social media. Plus, will also do a video content uploading as well. So these are the two type of content that's very popular when specifically when I talk about India. A lot of people are doing that. I mean, last I checked was there are about uh, 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 total of 200 million creators overall in the world, and a lot of people are doing the same on Instagram, on Facebook, on different social media platforms. So that's how we started. But this is bound to increase as per the feedback that we receive from the community and the user base. I
Yeah.
think a lot of different type of content will come. Whether an educator want to post educative content, or maybe a creator who has a premium content, let's say, if they want to post a premium content where they want to get that content so that people can pay for consuming those content. That's the other plan that we have.
Nice. Okay. And yeah, if we want to compare, for example, RuBaRu with any Web2 platform, social media platform, in terms of
Mhm.
the UX and UI, what do you think? Which platform could be like pretty like more or less similar to RuBaRu? Is like more like Twitter, TikTok, YouTube? What is exactly your approach? If we can maybe
So
like it's easy for us to understand for the audience what is
yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
be RuBaRu. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. So that was a deliberate decision to pick up a Web2 social media platform to start building our application, and because we have seen a lot of growth of Instagram post TikTok ban. We have seen a lot of growth of Instagram in India itself. So we started building application that is very comparable to Instagram, so that there is least learning curve, and then this UX will evolve as per our vision, as per our vision in the coming future. So yeah, if you want to compare that with any Web2 alternative, Instagram would be the closest one.
Cool, perfect, nice. And the project is building 100% in Motoko, if I'm not wrong. Tell us more about your team. You are the founder, and you have also developers working now in India, I assume. Yeah, tell us more about your core, your project, your team. Sorry.
I mean, yes, yeah, absolutely. So I would term myself very fortunate that I was at right time at right place, to include a couple of guys, very talented guys who have been working and building with the different big organization, as well as also worked with startups. So we are four guys right now. Uh, Three of us are working full time. I myself code. I have around 17 plus years of experience. There is other guy who has around the same amount of experience. He's expert in building a decentralized application. When I talk about either building it for Oracle, whether building a database engine for barcode systems and whatnot. And then we have a backend developer who is who is highly experienced in building and designing the architecture of backend. And our whole backend is in Motoko right now. But because we designed our system in a way, that we have a flexibility of using different technologies while building our backend. So it's a microservices architecture wherein different modules are divided into microservices, different microservices, and we have an flexibility to use any technology. We can, build a canister using Rust, and then we can build a microservice out of it. We already have Motoko microservices running up and running. So yeah, that's how it is.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. That's amazing. And what is the next steps or the roadmap? What do you have in mind for 2024? When do you think will be launched, like on the mainnet, the platform, and yeah, the future of RuBaRu as a founder? How do you
Yeah.
see RuBaRu in a few years?
Yeah, so talking about the immediate or the short-term goals, or the immediate things that we have in our roadmap, the number one thing is to launch the application and start the closed pre-beta testing, so that we can fix any of the issues that we face or our community face, and make it robust, so that we can bombard it throughout the globe. Before that, before bombarding the application to everywhere across the country, specifically if I talk about India, we want to make sure that application is robust enough to handle such a big audience. So the number one step is for us is to get a community feedback and the application tested by at least by maybe 1,000 folks, so that we understand what challenges and what bugs we are facing, we can solve them. And then the next target for us is to open it for at least onboard 1 million users. That's our target for Q1 Q2 to 2024. Plus, once we are done with our testing, the app release and the testing, we also want to start transferring the ownership of the ecosystem to the community itself. So Q2 or Q3 probably will be targeting our SNS. Before that, we might do some seed funding raise, so that we start onboarding the owners of RuBaRu, or the new owners of the RuBaRu into the ecosystem.
That's nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And if I talk about our long-term goal, one of the things that we realize that if you are building something, if you're building a sustainable business, if you're building a viable business that can at least last for a decade, you need to work quickly. You need to have certain team members who can think straight, think out of box, and can get feedback from the market. And for that, before even building a DAO, or before giving out the or involving new owners for decision making, we want to utilize our expertise as a entrepreneurs or as a startup builders to build an application which is at one level where we can say that now the foundation is built. Now on top of that, we'll be building different kind of services or different kind of products or features, whether it is inside the application or that might be physical events. We don't know. That might also happen because we also realize that it's not only about the mobile application. Ecosystem is about having a holistic system in place, wherein you do have a technology supporting the ecosystem, but at the end of the day, it's people who are using it. So our main focus is to build an ecosystem that people or human beings love to use. So we might be also doing different creators events or whatnot. So yeah, so the long term vision is to build an robust application or decentralized application wherein we set out a whole system which can function without one person making decisions, and can also be a viable business so that it sustain itself without external funding, so as to say.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, Tushar Gupta. Yeah, the project looks impressive, looks really amazing, and we are looking forward to know more and to see more improvements, and like see the launch of RuBaRu, and for sure here from the ICP Hub North America. We are so happy to help you to in the marketing things, to spread the word, and anything that we can help to escalate even more RuBaRu project. We'll be happy to do that. Yeah, thanks a lot for your time, Tushar. It's an amazing talk, and yeah, that's all the best for this 2024. And yeah, you have any last thought on that? You want to say the last words to the audience, to the Let's Talk ICP audience?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Xavier. So the only thing that I would like to say is, we have been building the product from last maybe 1.5 years. Our team has doing tremendous job, but at the end of the day, the product should go into the market in the hands of the users, and the users are the real owners of the application. So yeah, sooner we'll be releasing the app. We look forward for the feedback. We look forward for people to disrupt the app so that we can fix problems, and then we'll be launching or targeting Web2 users. We are going to onboard millions and millions of users from Web2 to ICP ecosystem. That's the first goal that we have.
Cool. Yeah. Let's go, RuBaRu. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Yeah. Take care.
Yeah,
See you
have a
soon.
nice day. Yeah, take care.
Bye bye.
Will be. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.